Thanks so much for sitting down with us, Abel. I'm delighted to hear your story. I know a little bit about it, and what a fascinating journey to become a chartered accountant. Thanks for coming to share it.
Thank you.
So let's start right there. Tell us your journey. How did you become a chartered accountant that you are today and a partner at Deloitte?
Okay, thank you, Kirsty. My story is a little bit, with as many you would encounter, everybody's story is unique, but I think mine is a bit unusual in the sense that my career decisions are not ones that were informed quite early on in my life. At the time when we were still in school, career guidance was not readily available. The one career guidance class that I remember that I had in grade 11, that was 92. We were asked by this one teacher saying, what would you want to be when you start working? And the answer that I gave at the time was that I would like to be a veterinarian. And simply because at the time, when I was growing up in Katima, that's in the Zambezi region, our neighbor was a veterinarian. And as a child, you tend to be influenced by the people around you. So, and those green overalls and the car that he used to drive sort of maybe caught my eye. And I said, I want to be a veterinarian. Little did I know that I'll end up being a CA. So as I said, so the decision for me to pursue this career came a bit later. When I came to UNAM, right there in the queue is my friend. We ended up swapping. I was more into science, a bit the math at school. He was more in commerce. I ended up doing BCom in 1993 and 1994 at UNAM on the queue, and he ended up doing some electrical stuff. So he finished qualified electrician. So our careers were not really well decided right at the beginning. So, and then after that, doing my 3 years at UNAM, my degree, I joined the then City Savings and Investment Bank, which is quite similar to, I think, the recent SME bank. And I joined as an internal auditor. I did 4 years there, and during that 4.5 years, along the way, I met some of the people that I would say inspired me, like Masule. He was one of the early or few black CAs at the time in the country, and he was the only one from my region. So speaking to him, I started to sort of appreciate this profession, accounting profession, only then understand what this CA thing is all about. So I started developing interest, and then I started doing my postgraduate studies at distance with University of Natal. And then just when I was, because the bridging that time was 2 years, 1 year, and then you had to do the final year. Just when I was going to go into my final year, the CSIB was then being merged with SWABO. That was in 2002. In my mind that time, I said I wasn't really keen on going into this whole cultural change, merging cultures, and you could see a lot of friction already. And I said, nah, this is not for me. Let me go full time and finish this postgraduate studies that I was doing. Obviously, my boss was not very happy because he believed in my potential. I was internal audit manager at that time. He wanted me to become internal audit manager in the new environment. I said, sorry, I need to do this personal thing here. So I went full-time, did my CTA, and when I was doing that, it was quite hard, and I said to myself, there's no option here, there's only one option. It's either I pass or I go back home and join the people, unemployed army on the street. So the failure was not an option. So I did all I needed to do, and luckily I came out as one of the people who passed, and then came back. Knocked on a couple of doors of the big accredited firms, or big fours as we call them, and luckily the Deloitte door opened. And that's how I joined Deloitte. That was in 2003. When I walked in, the staff partner at that time, Junior Smunguda, so remember, when I told him my story, I've got my CTA, I want to do this. He said, okay, when do you like to sign? And right then I signed. I was so happy to be welcomed at Deloitte. Yeah, so that's how.
It's an amazing journey.
Yeah, I became basically involved in this profession. So in joining Deloitte, only then again started realizing or appreciating the role of what an accountant does. and particularly a CA, and in terms of in business and economy.
Take us through that role. What is the CA responsible for?
So, a CA, in my view, is what I would sort of compare to what the medical doctor is to the national population. So, a medical doctor is basically responsible for the health of the population, right? In the same vein, you could say the same thing for a CA. CA is responsible, he is the doctor of business. This is what we say as CAs. Basically, as a CA, you are able to diagnose the financial health of the business, and to some extent, we also have a serious impact on the economy as well. So yeah, that's I think if that analogy makes sense to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what a CA is to me. So and I only started appreciating that role being at Deloitte because then you are involved in different industries with different clients, looking at their businesses, their finances, and all of that. So the amount of exposure and experience that you gain through that it's immense and very, very, very fruitful.
And I believe that a lot of your experience has been with the auditing of diamond mine in Namibia. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's one thing I'm I think grateful. For the one industry that I've been involved in from day one, when I stepped in Deloitte, as I said, from that day, the first client that I went to when I started working, because that time Deloitte was in the Namibia Center, the iconic building in our city center. The first assignment I was sent to was go to the 10th floor to join the team the first year. So I joined the NABDEP team that time. I didn't do much, have no clue what auditing was, but that was the first client that I joined. And it's still the only client since I joined Deloitte that I still call my client as a partner even now, as I grew up through the profession from trainee to a manager, becoming a partner. It's one client that remains my client. So as I became a manager, I took over from the previous manager as a manager on the audit, and as I became a partner as well, I took over from the previous partner, at that time was Juniors, as a partner on NAMDEP, and that's one client I'm proud to have been involved with, and it's had a serious impact on my growth as a person as well. Mm-hmm. I'm still very proud to be involved with as well.
So what was it like when you became partner at Deloitte?
Yeah, no, that's one of the, I think, big highlights in my life. Passing CTA was definitely one of those. As I said, it was quite a tough year. It required a lot of determination and strength, and also becoming a CA also. But becoming a partner was for me one of those moments that telling in your life, you've achieved what many people would only admire to achieve, because only so few people can get to this level.
Absolutely.
And not everybody will be able to get this level. And so I consider myself as one of those lucky people. Yes, I worked myself to deserve to be at this level, but I think there is also luck in the sense of the fact that you need to be in the right place, the right firm, and be with the right people around you to develop to this level. You don't just get here by luck. So it is luck in a sense, but also the people around you that develops you, that mentors you,
and
teaches you to become what you become are important as well.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And I'm sure that the hard work is also another big component.
Very, very important. I think hard work is a common denominator of this profession. Yes, I think you need a certain level of brilliance. You can't become a CA if you don't have a certain average of brilliance. But I think hard work is quite a significant component of that, because we've had stories when I was doing my CTA of some learners who believed that their natural talent would get them through, and they were miserably disappointed because it's not only just natural brilliance, you need to work at it also to achieve this qualification. So it's a combination of factors, yeah, definitely. And being a partner, being an external auditor, it's the nature of our life. It's we're hardworking people. The one thing I'm proud of is that you hear a lot of positive things that are said about the people that are produced by this profession, particularly people produced by Deloitte. But I think it's a common trend when a person has gone through articles and is qualified to CA, a lot of the time they always have a positive impact in the working environment wherever they go, because the culture that you come through to become a CA is such that underlying it is this hard work and disciplined person. And a lot of organizations, particularly when they join this, they don't in this where the culture is a bit laxed, more like government. They are amazed at the discipline that these young people come with, and the fact that they are self-driven. They don't need to be told to perform their tasks, or when they're given tasks, they perform without being requested repeatedly to complete the tasks. Yeah.
And discipline, just as a value in life, would you say that that's the most important value of this profession, to be disciplined?
Yes, I would say discipline. It's really key, and also I think there's three key values that you need in this profession to achieve, particularly to become a CA. You need to be hardworking. You need to be determined, but most importantly, you need to be focused and disciplined, because it's currently in Namibia, it's a profession that takes long for one to qualify to attend or to obtain. You take about 9 years. I took 9 years effectively to become a CA. You do 4 years of accounting degrees. You need 2 years, basically 1 year of bridging. As I told you, I did bridging, and then 1 year of full-time CTA, and then 3 years of articles. So it's 6 plus 3 years, so it's 9 years. And this is why the discipline and hard work and being focused is important, because many people fall through along the way, because it's just so demanding to hard work and be disciplined for such a long time. It's not always that everybody will be able to maintain that.
No, it's not easy. Yeah. What would your advice be to somebody who's in the middle of the process of studying to become an accountant, a chartered accountant? How do you keep going?
Yeah, no, I think at the end of the day, like my story is different. I wasn't really very clear in terms of, I didn't have that luck of being guided in and being given that information up front to say, what is it that you get at the end of the day? Our young people these days, I think they are very lucky. I know that at the profession, the institute that I'm involved with, ICAN, the investors, we're making a lot of effort to promote this profession already along in school, explain what the profession is all about. And even when they're already in the program at UNAM or even in South Africa, we do visit universities and we interact with them constantly. We tell them what the profession is all about, what being an external auditor is all about, or being a financial director in a group like NAMDEB or at the bank. So they've got very clear vision of what this thing is all about. So if you know what you want to achieve in life, so I think that's really always what drives you. So unless you say, okay, I don't think I'll be able to achieve that, but I think it's all clear to them what is there at the end of the day. It wasn't so clear to many of us, but we got there. So that discipline at the end of the day is what is going to get you there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So in terms of the benefits that you've received from this career, the rewards, the highs, would you recommend this profession to somebody else?
Yeah, no, certainly. And I think speaking of that, for me, it's one thing, as I said to you earlier, was that realizing the role of this profession in the society, especially in the business and economy, is that we also came to realization that this skill was quite scarce and is still scarce in the country, and more so among previously disadvantaged Namibians. But the image is slowly, naturally correcting as you look at the pipeline now, that most of the pipeline is made up of previously disadvantaged Namibians, and it's even more impressive that majority of those are actually young ladies, and that transformation is taking place. And because of that scarcity of skills, and if you look at the benchmarks around the world and around the region, Namibia still has quite significant gap in terms of the number of CAs. If you use a ratio of, say, the number of CAs to population, which is one of the benchmarks that one would look at, you see that in Namibia we're currently sitting at about 5,000 Namibians per 1 CA. That's quite a big gap. Whereas if you compare to our immediate neighbor here, South Africa, they're sitting at about 2,000 or less people to one city. So we are still quite behind. And if you compare to other more developed countries like Canada, the UK, and maybe the Singapores of this world, the ratios are even much lower. So if we aspire to become those well-doing economies or countries, we need to be able to achieve those skills level, whether it's in accounting, medical, or engineering. We need to aspire as a country to become a skills-based economy. That's the only way we're going to move forward. Natural resources alone will never get us there.
No, absolutely. So it's definitely a recommendation of yours.
Yeah.
I want to read a quote that you have written before. It says, "In my view, looking back at my journey to where I am today, that success can only be limited by your imagination. And in a country like ours, I believe that through hard work, dedication, discipline, and perseverance, every child should be able to reach their dreams." That's really beautiful.
Yeah, and I still truly believe in that. I think if you look at the African landscape, we are one of the countries that have shown to be lucky in terms of political stability. Yes, there's always political wrangles in any country. I mean, even in America or Europe, politics is politics. It's never going to be a stable thing. We see it in Swapo here and there, but that's normal. It's not the unusual politics that you see in the other countries where it scares away investors.
Yeah.
And it's health for democracy. So we are lucky from that perspective. Economically, our country has been stable. The investment that the government is making in education is to be seen. I saw an article recently where Namibia is considered as one of the examples in terms of the investment that we make in education. I think the only thing that we need to work on as a country is to work on the quality of that education so that we produce people who are able to make an impact in the economy. And this profession, the CA profession, is one profession that I believe can set that example to say, as a country, how do we upskill our nation and make sure that we get all those core skills that will drive our country forward. And I'm happy to be involved in this profession, both within the firm. At the firm, we try to drive this idea, but also at an institute level as the vice president. We're doing a lot of great things that we hope can change the profession in this country and hopefully become an example to the rest of the other professions out there.
Absolutely beautiful. Abel, what would you say that you have learned about life through the career that you chose?
Yeah, as you've just quoted me in that dream, for me, one thing I know about myself is that I've always believed in my potential, my abilities, and I know that when I set my mind to something, more than likely that I will achieve that. And I believe everybody has got that potential. So you just need to identify what is it that you dream to achieve and evaluate yourself in terms of your potential to achieve that. And stay focused and be determined. I think we can achieve it. And that's a message that I believe we need to send to our Namibian child. I don't see why our country should be, if I look at Windhoek now, I think the stats were saying at some point that Windhoek was 35% people living in informal settlement, and that ratio I think is growing. That's just not what we want to see in our country. I believe every child, including those children growing up in those environments, should have a right to dream and reach their potential. And as leaders, we all collectively, together with government, have a responsibility to make sure that that happens, because in the end, we should be able to eradicate that picture, to have that perfect Namibia.
Absolutely beautiful. And what would your message be to that child that is feeling like they have no options and no solutions? Well, how would you encourage them to dream big?
Yeah, now, I think as a child, a child's mind is very easy to influence, and unfortunately, those children who find themselves in such environments, they are influenced to what they are exposed to. As I've said to you, what I was dreaming to become was a veterinarian because that's what I was exposed to. So I think, yes, the child, we, as the parents, the leaders, and the elders in this society, we have a responsibility to make sure that we may have any positive influence on the children around us. So it's the people who are living with those kids in those environments. And in my environment, I also obviously once in a while go to those schools and do whatever, but I don't live there every day. But it's the people in the community leaders that are there to make sure that they have a positive impact on the kids and be positive role model, because kids take people around them, the elders, as a role model. So if you are doing wrong things, that's what the child will learn. So we have responsibility as a nation to make sure that we are positive role models on our children.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you're an example, your story is an example of the fact that you never know where it's going to end up. All you need to do is put in the hard work, the perseverance, have the discipline and the focus, and your dreams, maybe they will be more than you even imagined.
Yeah, no, I mean, if I look at my life, one of the time when I was in grade 8 and grade 9, we moved with my father out of Katima to the rural areas. He was an agriculture extension officer. We lived in the floodplains of Katima. That's where I come from anyway. So in the time, I look back and I never even imagined that I'd probably come to Vendo. There was no such a dream. So my life was just like, okay, finish school, so what? There was nothing. There was no vision, anything. I was just living life. Half of the year you are in the canoeing in those floodplains. Life goes well. But I look back at that, I'm like, sure, you never know where you get to in life. So you look at the child in the informal settlement. Don't write them off.
No, never.
That's the point that I'm trying to make, to say everybody has got the same chance to achieve whatever great people that we see in this world, because you never know what the potential of that child is. Because somebody today that respects me because I'm a partner at Deloitte, if they were to see my video in that time, doing canoeing, swimming those floodplains, they wouldn't have imagined that I'd be a partner at Deloitte. But yeah.
But here you are. What an incredible journey and what an incredible story. Thank you so much for sharing it with us and inspiring us with your story. As we've mentioned before, it's not only luck, it's also hard work. This was your doing. But it's an incredible story of transformation, of where you can come from and where you can go to. It's entirely up to you.
Definitely.
Beautiful. Thank you, Abel. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us on the profession of being a chartered accountant?
I always want to say, when you have an opportunity as a person within society to make a positive impact, let's all try and do that and contribute where we can. So I'm proud to be involved in the initiatives at the Institute that I believe will positively influence this profession to grow the skills in the country. I basically encourage other people, whether it's within this profession or other profession, to really do that so that we can build this country together. I think that's for me the most important thing. Let's have a positive impact on this country.
Exactly, 100% agree.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming to inspire us.
Thank you.